So I have my house here, I've got the front on now, and I've taken the bag and very carefully run it along the inside as well. It'll kind of push through, and that'll help with the seams on this side. Now I'm going to run all the way around the top, which I don't think I'm actually going to have anything touching this part right here, but this way it'll fill any gaps, and you can always go back and fill out the gaps as well. So I'm going to try to put this down where it doesn't make a mess, which is hard to do because this all makes a mess. And I'm going to take my roof pieces, and thankfully I've made them big enough that they will lay right on the top there. I've actually got them overlapping a little bit because I made them big enough to overlap the sides if I wanted to. It's all going to depend on how you put the house together. However you put the front of the house, whether you put the side pieces inside the edge or on the outside of the edge, you need to make sure you do the same thing with the back side of the house. So otherwise the roof pieces will not fit on quite right. So I've actually got the sides of my house kind of set into the front and back of my house, and since I made the top pieces a little bit big, they fit perfectly from front to back. If I swapped it over, they would still fit, but they would just hang over the edge a little bit, which is absolutely fine. And I'm going to take and run this through the middle. Now when I make these for the kids, and actually when I made the house just for myself and decorated with candy, I decorate the pieces first. Just because it's hard to get this, you have to wait for this to dry, and if you're trying to do the candy pieces on there and wait for this to dry while it's slanted, it's going to be harder. So I usually do the candy pieces first and then put it all together very carefully, and then make any touch-ups that I need to of anything that's fallen off. So usually with the little kids, I let them decorate it, and then I will put the actual house together. This is my first year trying to do some kind of chimney, so I'm just gonna put it towards the back of the house and get my other piece ready. I'm going to line the sides. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to work. One of the fun things I think about cooking is you get to experiment with different things here. So hopefully it'll hold together. Don't push too hard because you don't want your roof to collapse. I've had one of those before. Also, if you're going to be traveling with these, you obviously want them to lay very flat. I had a very big roof of my very first house actually snap while I was on my way home from Austin to do the Christmas with my family before I got to even put it together. So this is actually going to be apparently a very big chimney. But I guess that'll make it easier for Santa Claus to get in. And once we've got the chimney all done, again, the same thing, you want to do it the same way on both sides. So if your side pieces are inside, you want them inside on both sides so that it looks uniform. Or if you're going to put them where they're on the outside of the end pieces, you want to do that on both sides. So once I have this, I kind of use my finger to edge around, pull some of the icing, and then just to cover the bases. Once I've done that, I'll use the icing bag and do a thicker pipeline for it to just look pretty. That way you don't see my finger smudges anymore. Now, this one I'm actually not going to do candy on. I am just going to use the icing and decorate. So you can do your tiles of your roof like this if you need to, or if you just want to do big pieces of snow that's covered it, you can do that too. I've taken candy where I've used the candy for the shingles, and then you also take the icing and kind of smudge it on there so that you have snow on top of the shingle. I'm going to take this out of the way since I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to make a door. I'm just freehanding all of this. And we'll do a little wreath or window at the top. And it's very crooked. These are the fun ones I like to give to people. My first test ones when I'm trying to see if I like the size of the house or if I'm trying something new like a chimney and want to test out the shape of it. I'm going to also do a big window across the back side. Now, as you can see, I've got really big, thick pieces of icing here. Usually when I do the decorating pieces, I'll have another bag that I actually do a smaller, thinner tip so you can decorate a little bit easier instead of it being a little harder to tell, and I'm getting a little more icing out of this than I want to for the pieces. So, once you have it the way you want to, you can actually do some pieces hanging off, like icicles. You just press it to it and then pull it down, and those are your little icicles there. And that is your house, at least one part of it. So hopefully you have a good house building experience, and you can use the same icing to decorate any of your little cookies and goodies that you make. It's just very, very sweet, and it will harden, which is good if you're actually stacking the cookies. Since I don't usually have these edible, since they've baked so long, they're usually pretty hard. I usually try to do some cookies for everybody too that I make houses for. That way they have ones that they can actually eat while they enjoy their gingerbread house. Thank you.